This is our new Allen Heath dLive board, and we've just taken delivery of it within the last week and have gotten into it now and are starting to play with everything on it. The sound quality out of this thing is amazing. We've got it hooked up to a couple of RCF IRA 8 monitors sitting up on top of the doghouse, and have been listening to it, but wanted to just go through just some of the basics on the board. If you have any type of Allen Heath QU, GLD, iLive type use and experience, mixing on the dLive is going to be a piece of cake. With that said, mixing on the dLive without any of that experience is going to be a piece of cake. We have been iLive users since about 2008 with a T112 Surface and a IDR32 with an XDR expander for it. Over that time, never had an issue with it. Never had to send it in for service, never had a fader go bad, never had any problems with the mix rack, never had any problems. And the thing sounded fantastic. Workflow out of any of the boards that I have personally mixed on is very easy. I mean, probably the easiest that there is. With that said, I can sit with you for 5 minutes and completely get you into showing you how to mix on whether it is the dLive here or an iLive or a GLD. Doesn't take very long to get into understanding how the workflow is on this and what everything does. But with that said, we're going to go in and focus on some of the setup parameters and screens, and we've got it right now kind of in its stealth mode with the kind of the UV LEDs all the way up. We've got the background lighting in the room all red, and got a little bit of music going through it, as you can see right there on the channels 47 and 48 of the mix rack. So down this side of the board is all of the soft keys and user presets. We've got these bottom ones down here programmed as mute, DCA mutes, so that when they are off, they're red, and when we activate them here, it turns on the indicators up there. There we go, at the top of the board. So we can see that those DCAs are muted. But we'll go ahead and put those out. I'm going to end up zooming in here, see if we can do this gradually, and get it into a screen here that we can kind of see the displays. Each of the displays has the input number on it right now. It has the gain setting for it, and it tells us that it is on and sending information to the main mix, and that's what you can see there in the screen. Below that, that particular knob, depending on what button is pushed, and what we're going to do is just kind of pan this way a little bit. So what button is pushed here, this is now set for gain. That rotary is now set for pan, and you can see that the color's changed. It is now set for anything that we want it to be. This is now send levels that are on that, depending on what mix you're in. This is set for the frequency of your high-pass filter, and those two we don't have set. So depending on what you want those to do with the displays and that rotary encoder, a lot of functionality there on the board. As with any of the digital mixers, you can go in and name those channels and call them whatever you want to. The nice thing about this is that with this FPGA processor, you can have any socket show up anywhere on the board. It's not just a 1 through 48 or 1 through 64 scenario. You can put them anywhere. So if you happen to be doing festivals and things like that and you want to maintain your mix flow, you can end up assigning the inputs to the strips, and there's ways that you can get in and do the I/O routing. Let's get in here. So there's the I/O routing, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this up a little bit. Sorry, this is kind of a funky tripod. There we go. But there is the I/O routing on the board, and you can end up seeing how it goes through the mix rack outputs, and then goes down the mix out channels. And right now that is the local stuff that's on the board. We can go in here and pick up, this is the Surface, back to our mix rack, and everything is assigned all the way through. Let's go this way. We've got everything assigned, I think, through channel 32 on the board at this point that we're using. But just to push the button, it's got inputs and outputs on the back of the board that talk to the mix rack. They give you some additional inputs. The board cannot be used standalone without the mix engine. But as we are getting into this, we're just finding more and more capabilities that this new dLive can do. Like I said, the sound out of this thing is just amazing. With that said, I'm sure you've seen other videos that Allen Heath has done. It has two very high resolution touch screens to it. It does have a VGA output on the back that if you wanted to send metering information to a large VGA monitor, flat screen or whatever through the VGA, you could do that. The screens operate independently of each other, so that if we bring up a channel, we can see the channel screen, but we've still got our mix screen over here. Get back out of this, go into our meters. So we could have metering going on in this screen, we could have overall parameters going on here, and then if we want to bring up this channel and do an overview of it, you can see all the various parameters of the channel in there as well on the touch screen. And we're going to go ahead and just zoom in on that here real quick. And kind of give you the overview. A little bit tough to see some of the colors on those buttons, especially with the red background light that we have going on right now. But everything is color coded. All your gain levels that have anything to do with gain are all red here, here, and here. So that is all of your low frequency, low mid, high frequency gain. For the parametric EQs, we have the preamp gain, we have a pad control, we have phase reversal, we do have channel trim, we have high pass and low pass filters that are on each of the channels. We can do insert points. There's 2 insert points on the board on each of the channels. There is a grouping of libraries. You can set up how the displays look by just pressing the setup button. You can listen anywhere on with your headphones. You can listen anywhere on the channel of where you want to listen. And then the width control and the frequencies, these are green. Width control is yellow. And as we get up here, we've got some widgets that we can play with, and you can see the lights changing, but we've got those set so that this first widget is the compressor, and then that gets in for that particular channel that we're on, channel 1, and those are all the send levels, so that you've got rotary send levels on there, that somebody could be doing something on that side of the board, and completely independent of what's going on this side of the board, with send levels going to stage monitors, auxes, whatever the case may be, as far as however that is programmed. One of the nice features, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit more, that as you can see, the typical setup that we have on the channel right now is 4 distinct little boxes, and we can go into the view that flattens that out completely, or we go into our typical numbered sequence that tells you the frequency and the gain, plus or minus. This is all, touch operated on the screen, so that you can go in and kind of just drag and drop and touch everything on the screen to be able to set all of the channel EQs. Every channel's got the filters, it's got gating, it's got 2 insert points, it's got the parametric EQs, it's got a compressor, and every channel has delay on it as well. And then you can go in and set the colors of the channel displays, the naming conventions of them. There's just so much you can do. It's just quite amazing. I keep using that word, but that's really all that kind of comes to mind. It's like, oh, it's phenomenal. It's but it is what they've done with this. It is just amazing. The motorized faders down on the board. Down here, those are all protected against dust, so that they're all sealed up. Each channel has a mute on it, and also the channel select has a mix control for the channel, and also a PFL for each of the channels as well. And then you can also set how the channels are gained together on the board. Right now, we'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And we've got it set so that the 2 fader banks for the inputs on these side through the center and the far left are gained together, and then we've got independent control over our master DCAs, grouping auxiliaries that are on the board for aux sends. And again, those are essentially kind of assignable on the fly when you're doing setup. As far as mix rack configuration, I'll zoom in on this. And show you what we have done as far as setup is concerned. So right now we've got 10 mono groups set up. We've got 10 effects engines, 10 auxiliaries, no matrices, and then just a left and right. As you can see on the screen, we have 6 FX remaining and 30 mixes remaining that we can't assign, whether they are stereo groups, mono, whatever the case may be. You can go in, like on most boards, set the IP configuration network. As we get into this screen for audio, we don't have any additional ports. It's using the 96 kilohertz internal clock. You can assign talkback just by press of a button on where your talkback goes and how that works. And then signal generation. Meters, we've gone in and set up a user 1, which is channels 1 through 48, but you can go in and set up any type of metering on this. Different users. It does have RTA built in. My understanding is they are coming out with a firmware release to include spectrograph and things behind the display. That is coming out. But again, there's your inputs, mixes, and then user, however you want to just kind of drag and drop those. The effects that are in this are, a lot of them are ported over from the iLive and the GLD, but the effects are just, they're sweet. I just don't see the need to do anything outboard. There are so many different types of effects built into this. The first one we've got set up as just a reverb. We've got a chorus, stereo tap delay, a ADT, and that effect in itself is pretty sweet, especially for doing this one chorusing and this one for acoustic guitars that we've used. Again, we've got the I/O, we've got scene configurations, channel gaining of how you want to do your channel gaining. You can set up stereo channels, mix rack configuration, signal generator, the Surface again, dimmers, preferences, soft key assignments, name and colors, strip assignments, and also strip assignments all the way up to channels 128, and you can select those by blocks. Also, you can end up doing them by banks down in this portion of the display of what's on each of the banks, A, B, C, D, E, F, and go through and assign what is on those as well. So very, very flexible. Both screens have the big knob capability to them. We'll zoom out just a little bit, and you can kind of see those. They're the ones that are kind of glowing red here and here due to our background light. But the displays on this, let's see. You can, I think, see the LEDs there going. They are turned down most all the way. One of the things that we've got as far as the you can really turn those puppies up so that they are daylight readable. So now you can see what the flare it's doing to the video camera with the displays. That it's pretty amazing. We'll go ahead and pan over to what's going on with the aux sends at this point. But that display, we had a demo probably over a month ago from the Allen Heath American Music and Sound folks, and came into the office, and it's all windows in the lobby where we set this up, and those lights, just with window light and then the fluorescent lighting, it put your eyes out. Super bright as far as daylight capabilities. So the screens can be turned up very bright. All of the LEDs can be turned up extremely bright, so that the everything on the board is easily daylight readable. When we go out and mix outdoor events and festivals, we have a black canopy that we use. A lot of people think we're crazy. The black is fully cuts out light coming into it. It's kind of a blackout material. Believe it or not, the black in hot sun here in the Central Valley of California is much cooler than the white canopies, and we don't get the glare and reflections, and believe it or not, we stay much cooler. So that's about it for our current overview of the new dLive. We'll probably be posting some more videos on this and just going through typical workflow on it. Again, with the microphones that are in these cameras, there's no need to go through and try to say this is what it sounds like, because it just doesn't do it justice. But again, We are dealers for Allen Heath. We've sold quite a few of the dLive, the GLDs, and the QU boards, and some of their analog stuff as well. Their smaller Z series and things. And everybody that has purchased a Allen Heath console from us has been extremely happy. We have used our dLive in production work. We have recorded with it. We have also recorded into Pro Tools with the Waves card and the Dante cards that come with it for mix down into Blu-rays and DVDs that we have done for live performances and given that to the production company. And the audio tracks have turned out phenomenal. Just really, really good. So there you have it. Any questions, feel free to drop us a line. Again, it's Trinity Productions, trinityprosound.com with the all-new Allen Heath dLive.